So I completely forgot about Adepticon. This is completely unscripted, by the way, this whole video. Oh, I saw it. I was playing Darktide last night. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this today. It might be yesterday's last night, but I was playing Darktide, and loading screens, you know, they take forever. So I was on my phone looking at Reddit, and everyone was posting the thing about GW doing the lion, you know. You saw it. So I went to go check it out. I saw the lion reveal. I made a little post about it on the, you know, community thing. And then I kept playing Darktide because I thought that must be it. You know, there's a little thing about Horus Heresy, something about Age of Sigmar as well, so that must be it. And a really big 40k thing, and then a little Horus Heresy and Age of Sigmar thing. That's how the reveals usually go. I looked again later after doing a thing at Darktide, and then the trailer. Let's look at the trailer. The first thing I wanted to do was put Guilliman's whole speech in like one thing so that I could actually pay attention and not get distracted. Oh, lights, shiny, ooh. So here's that.
Victory. That is what the preachers cry from the spires of their temples. What commanders tell the soldiers in their service. The Indomitus Crusade meets with triumph after triumph. Day by day we tear Imperium Nihilus from the Despoiler's grip. And though we are beset on all sides, with each battle we drive back the mutant, the heretic, the alien. As I speak these words, our forces engage the remnants of Leviathan, reclaiming lost worlds, atoning for old shames. A crusade to cleanse the stars, taking the fight to the enemy. We routed the Tyranids at Baal. We broke their hive fleet. Soon, their foulness will be but a memory. That is what the preachers say. Belief will not save us. Lies will not protect us. But it is our hope that will damn us. In the spires and the slums, our people sing of victory. Victory as the galaxy burns. Victory as the Imperium rots around us. Victory as humanity rages against the dying of the light. Victory.
So, to me, Guilliman's speech kind of seems like he's saying, everyone says we're winning, but are we really? He doesn't say are we really, but, you know, when you say, that's what they say so much, that's kind of that's what he's giving off. He's not so sure that they're winning so hard. They're winning a little bit, not very much. And as for the actual thing, the actual, you know, visual side of the trailer, first thing I noticed, what's this? I have no idea what any of this means, honestly. There's a guy, he's holding a planet, he's got a sword, he stabbed the other guy. Those might be wings? I don't think so, they could just be decorative. If it's wings, then it's definitely Sanguinius. And later on, it does show a Blood Angels flag, so it might be in a Blood Angels place, but why would Guilliman be there? And it wouldn't be too unheard of to show, you know, the other chapters' flags and stuff, especially if they just got back from Baal, like he says here. And then what's this down here? Is a guy? Planet behind him. He has a sword. Those are either rocks or people. I can't tell. Yeah, that's all I got. Someone smarter than me should take this. What does this mean? I'm very 50-50 on that, if that's Sanguinius or not. I don't think so, but it could be. It might be. So, in the actual, like, battle part, the important part, first thing we see is this Phobos guy in Phobos. I think he's a lieutenant, because there's no other, like, throughout this whole thing, I saw no other Phobos guys. And if it was, like, a squad of guys, then there'd be other Phobos guys. And that thing on his shoulder, that looks fancy. A lieutenant or captain could have that, but we're gonna see a captain later. He's definitely a captain, so this guy must be a lieutenant. Or I'm wrong, probably. He's got a cool combi flamer. At first I thought he was part of these fire guys' squad, but no, they're definitely intercessors, and they have the heavy support thing on their shoulder, so They're definitely separate. I believe that's like the same exact gun that the Black Templars just got. Then here, with these guys walking in the forest, first thing that sticks out once you actually pause it and aren't looking at the guy covered in vines, that's a Combi Melta, and he's a sergeant, and on both these guys' shoulders is the veteran logo thingy, and he has a white helmet, which for the Ultramarines, that means he's a veteran. But he doesn't seem to have the same Combi Melta, and as we go on, we'll see more veteran guys. They don't have Combi Meltas either. So I think that's going to be a sergeant exclusive thing. And then these guys have a weird gun, but we'll get into that in just a second. Oh, and at first I thought this guy was a part of that same squad, but no, that's the lieutenant. So no Combi Flamers within the veterans, maybe. Then these two Flamer guys, and they're not the veteran guys, because you'd think that from those who were walking in front before, but now the Flame guys are walking in front. And then this guy shows up. Big, old Carnifex. Specifically, the Screamer Killer, because he screams and kills. I hope they're not just going to replace the old Carnifex or new Carnifex, middle Carnifex, and like maybe these guys are just going to be for Screamer Killers, and we get the old kit, the middle kit for regular Carnifexes if they're not going to redo them. We don't see any other Carnifexes in this trailer, so they probably won't redo them. Maybe? Who knows? It's definitely not confirmed. But then where does that leave the now Screamer Killers if they're replaced by this? My first thought was that they replaced the Carnifexes. But my second thought was maybe this Screamer Killer is just a Screamer Killer, not a Carnifex. He's like a new thing now. And the mid Screamer Killers, the Screamer Killers we have now, will be kind of a lamer version. Like this guy will have the big Screamer Killer scream, and these ones will have the little Screamer Killer, the mini Screamer Killer scream, and it'll just be a head more for the regular Carnifexes. But past that veteran guy that we saw earlier, he has a weird gun. It shoots blue. Everyone else, they shoot orange or red, fire, whatever. They shoot what you think they shoot. He shoots blue. And in a couple of bits we can see he has a weird magazine thing. It looks like Melta, like the one that the Eradicators have, but I can't get a good enough look to say for sure, and it is definitely smaller. But other than that magazine thing, whatever, it looks like a normal bolt rifle, and we'll see normal bolt rifles later, and they don't shoot blue. So I don't know what's up with this guy. Blue makes me think plasma, but he doesn't have any of the glowing plasma bits. So I don't know. There's something up with him, and as the lieutenant bravely stands as far away from the Screamer Killer as possible, we see the Melta guy shoot, and look, that guy right behind him, he seems to have a normal bolt rifle. I can't tell if he has a weird magazine, but he's shooting yellow, orange, white, whatever. Normal. He's shooting normal, just like the bolter part on the lieutenant behind him. Then we have a new Redemptor with the old guns. Like, they're just like the box knot guns, but on a Redemptor. They look like they'd probably be even the same size. You could probably kit bash one right now. But see, he has the same, like, that kind of looks like a combi bolter to me. These new combi bolters doesn't look like, actually I should check. Doesn't seem like it looks like the Redemptor that we have now. His side guns look different. Okay, well now that I'm looking at him, yeah, no, that's the same side guns the normal Redemptor has. So I think they might just replace the Redemptor we have now with just one that has more options. Perhaps they might, or not. I'll probably keep this kit and then just make a new one. It might share the same data sheet, or we'll get, you know, the combat Dreadnought, the shooty Dreadnought, and the in-between Dreadnought. That sounds more like what GW would do normally, so it's probably that. But also, look at that. He's got a gun on his crotch. Normal Redemptors don't have that. I can't see it though. I can see it shooting. There's too much smoke and stuff. Can't see what it actually looks like. Then there's this apothecary who's definitely in Gravis armor. First, you know, indicator is the hood over his head, and then his big bulky shoulder pads. His right one looks a lot like the older captain in Gravis armor. Not scripting is so fun. Then he gets got by a lictor, and we can just barely see. It kind of looks like Gravis armor from there, but you can't really see that much. But it's definitely Gravis armor from the shoulder pads and the hood. He uses a little Medicae thing to try chopping off his arm, the lictor's arm. And I know it's a lictor, because look at this. Tentacle mouths. And we'll see later that it's the same sort of upward facing scythe bits. And then the arm ones. We'll get a better look later. But look at those mouths. Very scary. I don't like them. I'm very afraid. And I keep showing them off in this trailer. We're gonna see more, and it's gonna be even scarier. And then we don't see the apothecary ever again, so he's dead. And it's very difficult to see these guys, but they're definitely Hormagaunts. And for like the first 2 times I saw it, I didn't see it. I had to, slow it down for me to be able to see it. But they're all like all over this trailer, and you barely see them. But once you slow it down, there it's like super obvious. But then these guys, new Biovores, probably. They look very different, but that's definitely a good thing considering. And they have Termagant heads, or gaunt-like heads. And I can't tell if they have eyes. They definitely have eye holes, but I don't see like any eye bit. Nothing shiny, no glowing weird yellow. It almost kind of looks like they stuck a huge gun on a Termagant's back rather than it's something actually made, So these could be something new and not actually a Biovore or Pyrovore, but it's definitely an artillery beast that's is small, so it's probably a Biovore. And here's some more of the Hormagaunts. But look, we'll get another look later, but look at that tail. It's very weirdly small considering normal Hormagaunts. And you can just barely see the face, and we'll get to see it some more later, but it's a very chunky mouth. It almost looks more like the current Biovore, or like Hiveguard. And then one of the flame guys, he's killing a Lictor. The homing beacon comes down, and then the Lictor gets him. It's almost certainly a fire guy because the heavy support thing, though he's probably dropped his flamer at some point. I really like this new homing beacon design. I like the old one, but this one, it's definitely a suitable replacement. Then the lieutenant takes out his knives, just like the current lieutenant in Phobos armor, or I think it's the Reaver one. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you'll see it. So, and you can see his combi flamer is on his back. I didn't even see that until just now. So he'll probably have paired combat blades or whatever, and the gun at the same time. And he seems to be fighting a bunch of Lictors, because again, gross tentacle mouths. There's actually a lot of Lictors, it seems like, because here's probably 2 more. No, those are Hormagaunts. And then the veteran sergeant gets killed again, probably a different one, but there's another one, and he gets killed again. Lieutenant, he's running, shooting stuff, and then the Terminators come down. So let's talk about the Terminators after the rest of the trailer, because I have things, if you watch this channel normally, you probably know, but we'll ignore that for now. So this is the captain I was talking about. He looks very similar to the old captain in Terminator armor. It's definitely not exact, but he looks a lot like him. It's mostly because that shoulder pad, it's probably a normal thing for Terminator captains to have, but that's what it reminds me of. So it's kind of similar too. And here's kind of where you can see more of the weird stubby tails. I almost feel like with the stubby tails and the weird head, these might be those Hypergaunts that some of the leaks talk about sometimes, and then Hormagaunts just either keep their current kit or are replaced by these. Probably not. I don't know. It's just a couple weird things about them that makes me think they might not be regular Hormagaunts. And then the new Librarian in Terminator armor. He looks cool. He looks a lot like more like a rune priest than normal librarian. He's also got an arm-mounted storm bolter, which is interesting. It's a Grey Knight thing. He's also got a nice force axe. It seemed that GW might have been forgetting the force axe, so it's good to see it again. I wonder if he'll have a helmet option, because it almost looks like, because he has something around his face, vaguely helmet-like, so I wonder if he'll get a helmet option. This scene is so funny to me. It looks like it's a comedy scene, in a comedy. Just how they look up and go, huh? But we don't ever see any more of them. But first thought is, of course, that wasn't my first thought, kitty. Good girl. My first thought was, of course, it's a Haruspex. But no. They're definitely way smaller, as you can see with the guy in his mouth. And it's almost like they're almost spider-like, with their butts not really, they don't have legs on their butts. whereas the Haruspex does. Seems like they have 2 legs. It's barely visible. 2 legs at the front and maybe an arm thing. We don't get a good look at them. They look like they're about the size of, well, they look smaller than a Carnifex, because a Carnifex with a Primaris guy in his mouth, Primaris guy would look way smaller than this. I think that these guys should be about the size where they would fit on something like the new bike base, except they look a little bit too wide for that, but like lengthwise, that's about the size that I'm thinking. Maybe it'd probably hang off the base a little bit. It wouldn't be a perfect thing, but that's about the size I think that they look like. But they look very interesting to me. And then this guy, yeah, that's probably a Shrike. One of the most obvious, easy reveals for the Tyranids. But there is still the question of, why is he on his own like this? You'd think if it was warriors with wings, like people say Shrikes are, then there would be at least 3 of them. So is this just like a Tyranid Prime sort of thing, where he's an HQ of some sort? Or is he just... did the other 2 just die? Then these guys. So I keep flip-flopping as to if this is a Neurothrope replacement. You might say, well, the 2 guys next to him, he must be, since, you know, the regular box comes with 3. Those might just be new Zoanthropes. But no, they kind of look like they're their own thing, their own weird little thing. Kind of like the Leagues of Votann Grimnir. He has 2 little guys with him. I think that's what these guys are. His 2 little buddies that do a little bit of psychic damage as well, or amplify his power, or defend him. But they don't look like they're their own creature. They look like they're more or less just gonna follow him all the time, especially with how they're always right at his side. It could be the Doom of whatever, the Craft World. I don't remember what that's called. But usually people seem to think of him as the Doom of whatever, as being, you know, very smooth, like the old metal Zoanthropes. And this guy is definitely not smooth. He's big and bulky, which is why I'm 50-50 on if this is a Neurothrope or something to like a better Neurothrope. Like a Neurothrope might just become an Elite's choice, and then this guy is the HQ. Or they could just have this guy be the Neurothrope, and the current kit is kept for Zoanthropes. Or maybe the Neurothrope becomes just like a squad choice sort of thing. Like, you can either have 3 Zoanthropes, or 2 Zoanthropes and 1 Neurothrope, like how the box actually is, and that's where GW seems to be heading with a lot of its kits. So that could definitely be an option. Either way, this guy is neat. I don't know if he's gonna replace anything though. I keep going back and forth. I don't think that he'll replace him. Then this veteran here, he has, it kind of looks like the handle on top makes me think it could be a heavy bolter, because that's what they've been doing with the heavier weapons, but it doesn't look like a heavy bolter. It looks like a normal bolt rifle with a handle on top and a really big drum magazine thing. And if these guys really are trying to copy the Sternguard veterans, it would make sense, because the Sternguard veterans do have a heavy bolter with them. And then another scary Lictor with his very scary mouth. I don't want to look at it anymore. Then the Psyker Beast once again, but without the little guys with him. At least I don't think. That thing right there, kinda, it might be. That might be the little guy. I didn't even see him before. Huh. But if that isn't the little guy and that's just something else, then that definitely says that they might be a more defensive thing. Like, you gotta kill them first, gotta kill the little guys, then you can kill the big guy. And then maybe when they're alive, he does like +1 psychic tests, you know? The lieutenant guy again and some flame guy. Weird, I don't think I've ever seen this lieutenant use his flame part of his combi flamer throughout this whole thing. I'll put up a thing showing if I'm wrong, but I can't remember ever seeing it. I never took note of it. It's weird. And then here, the only really notable thing is the flag guy back there. But we just got a new flag guy. I don't think he's new. You can barely make out what the flag has on it, but it kind of looks like one of the options you can take with the new guy. I don't think that this guy's new, or new now. at the very most, and I don't think this is going to happen, but if this flag guy indicates anything at all, then he indicates that there might be a new scope exclusive to the new box set that comes out that's like gonna be like Indominus. And there's the Psyker Beast back there again. He's not glowing or anything, which is weird, but that's definitely him. But that's the analysis over. Yeah, other YouTubers will probably cover anything that I've missed. So for those Terminators, they look fine. They're good. They're really good, actually. There's only like one little piece that says Primaris, so I'm fine with that. I can easily shave it off, or just keep it, because it's not that Primaris looking. But the annoying thing is I just got the old Terminators, and I'm still in the process of true scaling them for that video that I keep saying I'm gonna make. So, you know, good timing once again. Still gonna make them, obviously, can't just throw them away. But once again, it's not gonna be as useful because by the time I make the video, the new ones are probably gonna be out. I can do the Relic Terminators though. I still got them. I true scaled them, and they don't look as nice as I thought they would. I'm still figuring it out, you know. But the Indominus Terminators were supposed to be the main draw of that video to kind of cover up the fact that the Relic Terminators don't look as good as they would otherwise. It's the legs, like I was saying in the normal true scale video. Their legs have too much stuff on them for me to cut up. So you make the torso bigger, but you can't make it too big, otherwise they look weird. I'll figure it out though. Figure something out.